Hey Marky Mark, how you doing, buddy? Hey Marky Mark, how you doing, buddy? Giovanni, how you doing? Okay, I'm still mucking around with software setups and stuff like that, so I think I need to change the camera angle a bit somehow. It needs to be more down and heading up, I think, or I need to be higher. I don't know. You know, it's all trialing. It's all this indoor stuff. It's very technical. It's so much easier outside with natural lighting. Indoors, we've got, you know, lighting and then shadows to take care of. And indoor stuff. It's very technical. It's confusing. It's so much easier outside with natural lighting. Indoors. Adrian, how are you? Adrian, how are you? Oh, got to kill the sound on there. Okay, you can mute that. Hi guys. Thanks, Giovanni. I'll be on and off. I'm just seeing, as I said, it's a software trial coming in through another account, and just seeing how I go. So weird. I just realised I just commented as Ancient J. Thank you, Adrian. Appreciate the support. That's what it comes down to. Is it comes down to people actually watching and then talking to people. So, you know, otherwise I'm just sitting here talking at a camera in an empty room. Big call out at the moment. Up above here in the description of the live, you'll find the link to the MCUA membership form. I'm doing this big drive at the moment. I need to have 200 new members because the $5 membership fee goes to cover the $1,000 or approximately $1,100 rental on the hall for the upcoming Cananana event on the Gold Coast, in Tugun. So, friends, family, $5, it's not a lot of money, and you get to add your voice to our voices when we're out there talking. So, even though it's me on a screen talking out to the world, by joining the MCUA, it makes my voice that little bit louder because it shows that I'm speaking for more than myself. So if, look, you know, if you've got the $5, it's a PayPal or a direct debit or whatever it is that you want to do. I don't think it's a big ask. And as I said, I'm endeavouring now to centre our campaigns around the MCUA. It is an incorporated association here in Australia, so I will be looking at some funding applications down the track a little bit to see if we can actually get a bit of support from the government coffers. It should be possible, I think, the right kind of approach. But right now, right here, because we are kicking off this national campaign, we need more people involved. We need more people behind us, beside us, working with us in order to get the job accomplished. I mean, $5, become a member. It makes you a voting member, and we have an AGM coming up in just a matter of weeks. I think, as a matter of fact, that nominations open on the 4th of August, which will be, I don't know, tomorrow or something. You'd have to ask someone that keeps track of dates. I'm not that overly great at it. I have so much happening. Okay, so you can go, you follow the link to the MCUA and you join the MCUA, and it's at the end of the membership form sort of thing. It takes you to a PayPal option thing, or whatever it is, however it is you want to pay for your membership, and you do it there, $5. Alternatively, look, if there's anybody out there that actually, I don't know if you're in the cannabis industry, if it's done well for you, or if you just have some dollars and you're looking to be able to help make a change. But there is a GoFundMe happening at the moment up there. There's links floating around for the Canada tour. I've put a soft 100,000 target on it. I'd like to be able to do that 3 times over at least, to be able to run the kind of campaign over the next 12 months that I envisage. I mean, we're not just out talking about the benefits of cannabis. We're out there training the advocates so that they can keep projects happening and keep that motivation sort of like flowing after an event's moved on. We're looking at trying to build a network of sympathetic doctors, trying to ignite the heart of the researcher and the scientist within some of them, to make them realise that medicine never gave up on cannabis. Rather, it was taken away from medicine, to medicine's great dismay, if I remember, and I've read quite a lot about the period of time, where even, there's a weird thing, if you speak to most people, they'll tell you, and you ask, why is cannabis illegal? They say, oh, it's because of the Americans. When in reality, the Americans never made that choice. They actually didn't make a vote at all. They abstained from the vote to add cannabis to the schedule, and the AMA, the American Medical Association, actually boycotted the decision. So when people tell me, oh, America and Nixon and all that are to blame, I just laugh, because the decision was made so much longer before then, and the Americans fought pretty much the hardest of all to stop it happening, or at least the medical fraternity did. The government, not so much. The government were quite happy to make friends at the United Nations by following through with the instructions, but they never made those decisions. The Americans had nothing whatsoever to do with the choice of making cannabis illegal in any way, shape or form. They did not instigate it, they did not motivate it. They were following instructions from the United Nations. The decision to remove cannabis was done at a political level as part of a large-scale negotiation between the existing countries of the League of Nations and the nations that made up the African bloc, otherwise known as the Islamic Caliphate at the time. That was disbanded. Those countries joined the League of Nations to create the United Nations. It's political machinations. Nothing to do whatsoever about the realistic effect or situation with cannabis. It was just a sacrifice in a large-scale negotiation. Well, we've seen too much suffering and harm because of that sacrifice that was made. It's time that it was undone. I mean, at the time, the World Health Organization was supplied information from medical institutes around the world that all were consistent, saying that cannabis was very, very useful, very, very needed, and there was no need for any kind of more controls over it. And yet, all of that research, all of those studies were suppressed by the World Health Organization, and they submitted to the International Narcotic Control Board a document known as the Additional Report on Cannabis, which literally states, if you smoke cannabis, you will get insane enough to kill someone for a banana. Okay? Totally conflicts with all of the rational research that was done at the time, and yet that was what was given to make the decision to ban cannabis. It's ridiculous. Thank you so much, Duane. As I said here, spread this one around. It's on the Ancient J page. I'm doing it through one of my neutral accounts, so there shouldn't be any issues with anyone being able to see the content of this video. We're having issues with the algorithm at the moment, obviously, so sort of like trying to split my videos between my different accounts through the Ancient J thing, and hopefully that might alleviate some of the issues that we're having. Excellent. I'm so cool. Hey, Bretts! How you doing, Snuggles? What a lovely clean bowl. Ooh, reminds me. The membership drive, I've got a twisty glass bubbler kit there that I've been doing some reviews with. It'll be cleaned, it'll be as new. It's only been used half a dozen times, just for reviews and so forth. And some bits and pieces from the Magic Butter Cruise, some straining bags and some silicone gloves and stuff. worth about $80 all up. We're giving that away. We're doing a draw later on this month from all of the new members of the MCUA, and I'm going to give you this gift pack worth $80 to a random person that is going to be drawn at random by myself using one of those little random number generator things. They'll just tell me the numbers that I need to go from until, and we'll go from there. Yay! Will be amazing. Yeah, that's right. It's kind of a strange thing, Giovanni, like the way that the actual situation, and like, I don't know if everyone is aware, but even in Islam, there is the schisms. There's more than one. In the same way that we've got, your Baptists, your sort of, your Protestants, your sort of like, your born-agains and stuff like that. They've got their own schisms or sects within the Islamic branch, and it is just one in particular that's dead against cannabis, and it's because the founder of it, this great scholar, this sheikh that they're all sort of like into, who was the founder of the Wahhabi sect, he declared cannabis as part of the list. He's like looking through Muhammad's stuff and he's going, Muhammad meant that as well. So they went dead against it. Now they are the guys that are behind the Sunni regime. They are the ones that are basically the, here's the scary bit. It's the Muslim Brotherhood, right? They're the guys, they've just taken control of Pakistan, which has nuclear weapons. Like the stuff that's going on in the world right now is scary as. I'm doing my absolute utmost to try and not take too much notice of it, because seriously, there is any given day you wake up in the next few weeks, it could be a day you wake up in the middle of a nuclear war. That's how screwed up the world is becoming. They're going to try and tell you that there's something wrong with cannabis. They're going to tell you it's dangerous. It's, the reefer madness myths have been going for so long now that some people actually think they're factual, when all of the research and all of the facts say completely the opposite, as they have done for years, even when it was banned. As I said, the documented, look, LaGuardia report from the US, glowing report on cannabis. The Brain Commission in the UK, which was the United Kingdom Medical Service report, absolutely stated that there was no need for any more kind of regulations on cannabis and that it had so many different uses in medicine. And yet all of that information was suppressed by the World Health Organization. Now that's fraud, no matter how you look at it. The World Health Organization is solely responsible for all of the suffering and harm happening because of prohibition. Today, they fraudulently submitted documentation that they knew was false, because research on that documentation, on the facts stated in that documentation, had already discounted it. It had been thrown aside because there was no validity to it. It had been laughed out of scientific circles, and yet that document, that research is what was used to ban cannabis. Written by, yes, a couple of Islamic scholars, yes, Sunni scholars, yes. The fact of the matter is, today, there are children, men and women, suffering. Today, right now, there are children and parents who are becoming criminals because they are allowing their child to have cannabis oil, because they want their child to have a quality of life. They don't want their child in a semi-comatose state, zapped out on steroids and tranquilizers. They want their child to have a childhood. They want their child to make friends, to interact, to be able to express themselves. This is what cannabis oil gives to those that suffer from certain cases of certain types of epilepsy, where there are no other treatments available. This is the thing. Today, they talk about untreatable epilepsy. Now, until cannabis was banned, there was no such thing, because there isn't. Because that untreatable epilepsy can be safely and effectively treated with cannabis oil, and in fact is, right now, being treated around Australia. The actual drugs, the pharmaceutical drugs that are prescribed for epilepsy in this country, in Australia, are seeing $20 million drops in sales. Why? Because they're not filling in their scripts. They're going and getting some oil instead, because the oil gives them a chance at a normal life. Now, these people are becoming criminals in order to have a normal life. Now, does that sound logical at all? Thank you, Carl. You're a sweetie. Thank you so much, Adrian. Appreciate it. Don't forget, you've got to not just sign up, you've got to go all the way through to the PayPal thing and pay the $5 because there's something wrong with the system the way it's working at the moment. You've just got to persevere with it. If you've finished and it hasn't asked you for $5, you haven't completed it. I mean, you can do a bank transfer or whatever, I think it is. There are ways around it. But we really do need you to get behind this. Now, the MCUA has been sitting floating for a few years. It has done the hard yards. The ladies behind it that I know and I've worked with for a number of years, Gail and Deb and so forth, formidable ladies that have done so much. Now, it's up to us to come on board now and to help these ladies make it to that next step. Now, we've got businesses out there, we've got companies, people thinking that they can set up a governing body for our industry. They've got nothing to do with our industry. They've got nothing to do with any of us. They've not even talked to any of us, but they've decided that they're going to set up a governing body. Well, you know what? We already have one. It's the MCUA. And that's what we hope to evolve it into. Because the MCUA is there for the patients. It's there for the people. Not for the government, not for the corporations. It's there for the people. And if we're going to have a governing body overseeing cannabis medication in this country, I want that governing body to be focused on the patients, not on the government, not on the industry, but on the patients themselves, which is why I see the MCUA as being the foundation stone of that kind of organisation in the future. It's going to take help. It's going to need people to get involved. I need people to get involved. I need people helping me achieve this. It's becoming such a frustration that the newspapers are telling people everything's happening, when in reality, we on the ground know it's not. Nothing is happening. Smoke and mirrors, stonewalling, turn right, turn left, turn right, turn left, turn left, turn left. You're back to where you started, except you're 3 steps further back. We need to take the opportunity that lays before us right now. Public opinion is with us. The support is out there. It needs to be gathered. It needs to be focused. The Canon Tour is going to go a long way towards achieving that, because we're going out there not just to spread the word about cannabis, not just to spread the word about the harms of prohibition, not just to go out there and find the right kind of doctors and give them the information they need when a patient comes to their door asking about cannabis, not just to train the advocates. We're going out there to do all of those things all at once. This is a fireball that is going to burn its way across this country. I want you to be part of that. I need you to be part of that. I need you to help me make that happen. Yeah, Giovanni, EMP is a thing, but as a matter of fact, mate, they just go one easier. If you look at the way that they've been solidifying power supplies, so that it all leaches on, you know, you can wipe out one thing and take out a whole state now, where you couldn't before because we had power stations all over the place to offset the loads. They take away electricity, man becomes a Stone Age beast within a week. In general, they will. It's a weird thing. Look what happens in blackouts, and they only last overnight. You take away power from modern civilization, you're going to have people dying in the street within days because they don't know how to start a fire. They don't know how to prep food. Everything's going to come out of a freezer. Once all those freezers in the supermarkets all break down, 2 weeks gone, there's been no power, all the food's rotting. Right. People don't even know how to gut a freaking chicken. Yeah, oh, Giovanni, you can do it as a bank transfer. As I said, they use the PayPal because the PayPal is kind of a neutral. It's not, like nobody can shonk your PayPal because one, every PayPal transaction is covered by PayPal themselves. It's insured because it's owned by eBay. So if you get shonked via PayPal, it's actually insured by the company itself. You just got to prove that it was a shock. I think that's why the PayPal is a great medium for online buying and selling, because you can top it up from your account, but nothing can be taken from your account by PayPal. You know what I mean? You actually have to physically transfer the stuff over there, which puts just that block in between your own personal banking details and the outside world. But yeah, look, bank transfer, mate, you can send a check in the mail if you wanted to, if you're that kind of, like, I don't mind how your $5 arrives at the MCUA. I just want it to arrive. I want you, not just for that $5, but I want you. I want all of you. I want your voices with my voice, because it makes it louder and it'll reach further. Because we all need to be talking the same thing. Let's end the harm. Right now, harm, end. There's no need for it. They say it's going to be made available and they're going to make it legal. Well, why is it still being hassled at a criminality level? Why are we still out trying to bust? We're talking about over 80,000 people a year getting arrested for cannabis offences, like just personal use offences. 80,000 people. Now, how much does every one of those arrests cost in man hours from the courts and the police? How much money is it costing us to harm our own society? How much are we spending? How much are we investing in destroying our communities? Because that's what prohibition is. It is a tool that is destroying our communities, because prohibition is harming people every day, where cannabis has never harmed anyone in all of history. Now, when you've got something that doesn't harm and you've got something that does harm, which one do you think you should be looking at getting rid of? I mean, take it down to the basic, raw, logical facts. Not the airy-fairy, this, that, or the other. Oh, there might be harms. Well, look around the world, look where it's already been made available, and see that none of that stuff happened. Kids didn't start taking up cannabis. As a matter of fact, youth dropped down. Do you know where you see the biggest increase in use of cannabis? Overseas, where it's legally available and the sky didn't fall down. Do you know where you see the real increase in use? You see it in those over 50. Do you know why? Because they can swap a handful of pills for a nice little joint and have a lovely day. Half of the pills they're taking are to offset the side effects of the other half. There's no side effects with cannabis. It's shown beneficial in the arthritis, the rheumatism. It's an antispasmodic, so the muscular pains and all that. All of these benefits that are being discovered by the baby boomer generation overseas, they're loving it. That's where the increase in use is. But you know what you're also seeing? Is you're seeing this lowering in use of prescription drugs. And the better thing, lowering in the deaths of prescription drugs. See, here's a weird thing. Opiate, like legal opiate, the stuff that you're getting from your chemists, that's killing over 400 people every year from overdose. Yeah, 400 people every single year are dying from the prescription opiates that they're taking home, that they're told by their doctor to take. Now, there may be one or two that are doing it because they're tired of the pain or living or anything else in general. But there's an awful lot of them that are not doing it on purpose. Opiates, it's a nasty stuff. And it just basically sends you into the long snooze forever. Cannabis can't possibly kill you. It's not physically capable of killing you unless you've got like a 2-ton bale and somebody, drops it off a roof on top of your head. Then it'll kill you. Guaranteed. Well, not even guaranteed then. It depends. It'll probably kill you. 2 ton. That's a lot of weight. It's going to leave you messed up. Really. But that's the only way. If somebody actually packages up in a massive amount of weight and drops it on you, you can't consume enough to kill you. You sleep, and you'll have the best sleep possible. And you know what will happen after that sleep? You will wake up. That's right. You will wake up. hungry, really hungry. But you will wake up. Can't say the same for heroin and opiates in general. Look, clogging the court system isn't going to do us. It kind of. They don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? They just it just creates more money for the corporation. They'll just justify another courthouse and then another prison and another way of controlling people and locking them in a box. We need to stop, in a sense, trying to change the system by attacking the system. Can't do it. There's not enough of us, right? It's not focused enough. It's not directed enough, and it's not coordinated enough. So what do we need? We need coordination. We need direction, and we need focus. So we need to concentrate on bringing people together. Now, the weird thing is when we bring the people together, that in itself will give us the outcome we want. Why? Because the people are the outcome. When it becomes untenable to maintain a law that 99.9% of society are telling you to get rid of. Because in 2019, there's an election coming up, and I guarantee you, if cannabis is not available legally, either through a homegrown model or through a dispensary model, if it is not available in 2019, neither the Labor nor the Liberal Party will survive that election. Because I'm going to spend the next 2 years finding capable, independent people around this country, and then I'm going to help them. I'm going to help them get the money together to stand up, and then I'm going to help them get to know the people, and the people get to know them. And then we're going to go bye-bye to Labor and Liberal. And it's only going to take one election to do it, because the moment we go bye-bye, and then we put both of those parties to the same legal test that they put all of the motorcycle groups together in Queensland, and we look for, criminal members, criminal associations, both of those political parties will become prescribed criminal organisations. And then all their assets can be taken and given back to the Australian people from whence they've been stolen. Wouldn't that be awesome? So, clock's ticking. Oh yeah, look, once the money, and the money is a big part of what the Cannabis Tour is going to be, not just about the fact that we're going to be talking about, the $11 billion plus spent on cannabis every year in Australia, but talking about things like how the police and how much money is wasted in the police, and how the police, they don't feel it's, they're just doing their job and following orders, and yet if there's a 1.5% pay rise on the line, they'll stop following orders and stop doing their job. So we're going to highlight the way the system, the hypocritical way the system is viewing this. We are going to highlight the lies and the manipulations that are happening in this situation. Mate, I am over allowing a copper feeling bad about taking the medicine away from a dying child to be an excuse for taking the medicine away from a dying child. A copper, like seriously, if you go into a home knowing it's a medicine, knowing that that person is a healer, that person is a patient, and you go into that home knowing that, you're surrendering your humanity, because when you're looking for a 1.5% pay rise, you put your flashing lights on to warn speed cameras. You'll block cameras with your vehicles. You'll ignore rules, you'll ignore the law, you'll stop doing your job because you're chasing a pay rise. Well, there are children dying. There are adults dying. Now, to me, as a member of this society, I feel that's more important than a 1.5% pay rise. So I want you guys to stop doing your job. I want you to ignore those orders when it comes down to a cannabis offence, because that is the only way you're going to retain any kind of respect in this society. We know cannabis is harmless. Everyone knows cannabis is harmless. And to say that you're following orders when you refuse to follow orders for a pay rise, mate, that exposes exactly what the police force has become. The highway patrol, you think about the ridiculousness of that. Why did we want police on our roads? Because we had highwaymen that were actually, you know, standing over people, you know, taking money off them, robbing them. Gee. So they went from a musket to a speed camera. The police that we put to stop people being harassed on the road became the people harassing people on the road. They are the ones robbing people, interfering with their transit. That's what the police have become. They have become like the armed gang, standing over society. Do as we say, or we're going to fucking shoot you or lock you in a box. There's a lot of things going wrong with our society, and it's about time we, as a society, started taking notice. Yeah. Cool, Jermaine. So this is Ancient J talking live from Melbourne, Australia. Smoke weed every day. Smoking bongs, but I actually wanted to try out one of my new vapes today. I don't know if you've seen these guys. It's the Focus Vape Adventurer. Cool box. How's that? How handy is that? Look, nifty, right? It's awesome. Check this out. It's got blah blah. You can actually have water in it. It's freaking amazing. So I'm gonna have a crack with that today. Eventually, put it together. We'll have a go. That's the Focus Vape. Aussie Vapes, you know those guys. I don't know if they've got any left in stock though, because they were really popular. That one there is going to be a prize for those of you that have bought yourselves one of the Twisty Bubbler kits and uploaded a video into 420 Beards and Babes International. You can be winning this. Now this thing's like 160 bucks. It's nice. It's nice. It's very nice. All yours for free if you entertain me. And the rest of the people in 420 Beards and Babes International. So you can go there, and you're allowed to stack the vote. You can make all your friends and family join to vote for the video if it's chosen into the top 10. So make it entertaining. It's going to be more entertaining than mine, which is going to be hard because I'm very entertaining. But mine's not eligible to win. But it's kind of a benchmarky thing, you know? It's going to be entertaining. It's in there somewhere, on this page, maybe. So I want to talk a little bit about the Cananana event coming up, especially if you are a budding advocate, activist, and you want to get involved in the fight to free cannabis. That's right, your opportunity is coming. When we come to Queensland at Tugun, we are hosting a 2-day advocates workshop. We're going to, some of it's observation, obviously, because we've got a workshop, we've got an event happening. There'll be, you know, opportunity to actually watch the advocates in action that are actually out there doing the job now. We're going to teach you some different things. We touch on everything from body language, you know, working with your audience. It's a motivational, skill set enhancing. We're going to give you a resource pack. We're going to basically train you guys up to go out there and continue the work that we come to your town to start, and give you the tools to do it. So if you want to get involved, reach out to the MCUA, Cananana Tour. There'll be a post up probably on Monday with the breakdown for the Advocates Workshop and a sign-up type thing. And we're not asking huge amounts of money. It's kind of donation thing, but we'd like a sort of a donation around the sort of, you know, $20 or $30 for the day, because it comes like you get breakfast, lunch and stuff like that. We're going to feed you as well as, you know, train you. All monies goes into the MCUA kitty to make more Cananana events, more workshops and all sorts of stuff. We're going to have some amazing stuff there. We're doing an art exhibit as we're travelling around. So one evening there will be this wonderful exhibition opening where you can come and there will be an auction of some of the signed prints of the original works, signed by the artist and numbered by the artist, limited edition, and then at the end of the tour, the original works will actually probably be auctioned off. So those little prints may one day be worth lots of money because they'll be a limited of that original piece of art that's going out there into the world. Hi Lauren, how's it going, Nisi? Hey Brendan, how you doing? Hi Tracy, how are you? Hi. I love it when they say H-I-G-H because that is the only way to spell hi and say hi, because be hi. So yes, Tugan event. So you're going to have some amazing times. Like seriously, we've got oil extraction. You're going to be given hands-on instruction on how to teach patients and so forth. So you'll take part in the workshops because we've got extraction workshops happening over the weekend. We've got some great talks happening. We've got some of the cannabis coming down. We've got the magic butter, sort of an edible sort of workshop happening on the Sundays. You can learn how to make all these yummy treats with the magic butter machine from Magic Butter Australia. They're really cool. You should look at some of their machines and stuff. Really handy. Like if you're looking for a nice, easy way of preparing edibles and so forth, you really can't go past that bloody machine. I kid you not. Like I'm a bit old school and I'll still sort of muck around for bloody 12 hours with saucepans and stuff like that to do something that I do. But in all honesty, the convenience of one of those things, there are times when I just think, yeah, look, I'm just going to dump it in that because I've got things to do. It does it all for you, which is kind of a better thing. And it does make a good product. So the Magic Butter Machine, who will be a couple of machines. We'll have a machine as a big raffle prize at the event as well. Look, it's going to be awesome. And you really want to take part in that. Come down, check it out, go through the training, go to the workshops, go to the talks. Let's make this happen. I mean, as I said, this is a fireball that's going to just roll from one side of the country to the other. And it's gonna give you the potential in your area to keep things going. Now, we've got FCC events happening in Sydney, Queensland, Melbourne, obviously Melbourne. Awesomeness at Flagstaff Gardens. Don't forget the launch one, October 8th, I think. Be there. Yeah, be there. Mm-hmm. We want to see people not being afraid to show their part of this community. Like, you need to understand that there are millions of us here in Australia. Millions. Millions. Conservative figures is just over 2.25 million, based on AMA figures. And it's pretty consistent year after year when you look at the household drug and alcohol survey and so forth. Australia, good or bad, it uses a lot of different illicit substances. And we really need to be approaching them differently because the approach that we have right now doesn't work. Okay, we're seeing families torn apart. We're seeing people use other things other than cannabis and getting themselves into really, really bad places because there's nowhere they can go for help without risking the law coming into it. Now, nobody wants to try and help their friend by getting them arrested. So it becomes a really difficult situation for the support people around someone to be able to access help for someone because there is the threat of arrest. Why is there threat of arrest for trying to seek help? These are the things that we really need to be examining. Lauren! And solidarity it is. I don't know if you understand. You're familiar with the word synergy? Synergy is a greater force that is created when little things come together, right? Where the force created is greater than all of the independent and individual pieces, right? That's what we can have. Synergy. We are spread out across this country. We need to start connecting as one. The Canada Tour is part of that process. We're coming around to your homes. We're coming to talk to your neighbours. Well, it has been fractured for a long time now. What's actually been happening over the last 2 years that most people aren't aware of is that there has been a great deal of effort at unifying behind the scenes, to the point where a great deal of the so-called recreational smoker groups are in fact associated with the medical organisations. I mean, we've basically either set them up ourselves or we've worked with other guys to help them build up their groups, because we are one community. And that's why you quite often see people, quite often you'll see me popping up into, a lot of different areas, even in the rec groups, talking about the advocacy side of things. That's what it's about. We've been working towards creating mutual ground for about 2 years now. And as I said, in the last few weeks, I've been made the national spokesperson for the MCUA, like these guys, which is great. And the election's coming up, and I have actually, as I said, there's a nomination there coming up, I believe. Yeah, that's right. So we are, anyone out there knows, is that rec smoker, it's ancient, it's So by retaking my position back over on the medical side of things, I think it becomes fairly obvious that the resentment from the medical over to the rec side is well and truly gone. You know what I mean? The acceptance now, there's an understanding that we are just one, and no matter how you're choosing to use it, how you define your use is immaterial. What we are fighting to end is prohibition. If it's safe, and it is, if it's harmless, and it is, then doesn't need to be I can have it and you can't attitude anymore. There was never a need for it. And in fact, it worked well for the government for there to be that schism between the two so-called sides of cannabis use. It's worked against us, and it's worked for them. Well, we worked that out. Not anymore. We are one. We are one community, no matter what anybody likes to say on the peripheral. At the core of it, all of the people that are involved in all of the actual hands-on nitty-gritty doing stuff from the rec side and the hands-on nitty-gritty stuff and doing stuff on the medical side, they're all the same bloody people. That's exactly right. We need to unify, and that's exactly what's happening now. So, and the Canada Tour, that's part of that as well. As I said, it's a multi-platform event with advocacy workshops, public events, and medical professional sort of seminar. So we are attempting to reach out across the multi-spectrum. And yes, so look, once again, go to the link, mcuainc.org.au, fill in the membership forms, go to the PayPal or whatever, pay your $5, become a paying member of the MCUA so that you can vote when the AGM comes up, and you can add your voice to those of us actually out there doing the talking. Because we need it. We need your support. We need your money too. Give me all your money. It's okay. I'd rather have your support. I mean, money's good. Right? Don't get me wrong, with money we can do things. But what I really need is I need your support. I need you guys getting involved. I need you to realise that waiting for it to happen is basically sitting back and waiting for the end of the world to come. Because in 92, 93, 92, early 90s there, Bob Carr, Peter Beattie all promised us that it was going to be available. As a matter of fact, some trials were held, and at the end of the 4-year trial, we were going to have access to medical cannabis. So that was the 90s. All right. Now, it didn't actually happen in the 90s. So we got to 2003, and John Howard made a public statement. You can find it in The Age. Yeah, headline on The Age. And he says, oh, look, yeah, no dramas. We're going to make it available. Mate, any time now. We're going to have, cannabis available medically for people. No dramas at all. But that's 2003. It's a headline in The Age. 2003. So it didn't actually happen in the noughties. So we got to 2010, and New South Wales started talking about it again. Lucy Haslam and Dan, we started moving forwards. in 2015. Yeah, the Law Reform Commission. Yep. Needs to be accessed. Yep. So where are we now? 2017. How many patients are accessing cannabis? Not a lot. Not many at all. Why? Because it's too bloody hard to get through the rigmarole that they've put into place, because they still are not making it available. They have been saying it's going to be there since the 90s. That was quarter of a century ago. I'm asking you people to realise that if you keep listening to what they're saying and expecting it to be the truth, you're just asking for disappointment. We have to stop depending on any government or lawyers or courts to make this decision, to make this happen. It can only happen when the Australian people stand up. When that spirit that led us to the Eureka Stockade, when that rises up, when the Aussie battler comes to the fore, that is when cannabis will be legal, and not before. Yeah. Being invited to go to Bang tonight. That would kind of be fun. But I've sort of got a load of streaming to do. I've been very busy with the Canada tour during the week, organising bits and pieces, and I've got all the Green Cross streams to do, so I'm probably not going to get out tonight. Especially it's the international ones, it's later in the night for it to be in the right time of the day over there, UK and so forth. Yeah, look, I mean, to use the excuse that people will get stoned as an excuse not to use it, I mean, for Christ's sake, have you ever had Valium or a Xanax or, some opiates? I'll tell you, that gets you high, and it doesn't do anything good for you. Where cannabis does. There's no argument. Our body has receptors for it. Studies have shown that cancer tumours shrink and die. It's an antispasmodic and has been used in Western medicine for hundreds of years. Thousands of years in Chinese medicine, but hundreds of years it was used as an antispasmodic successfully in Western medicine. And Western medicine never lost faith in cannabis. Cannabis was torn away from Western medicine, and they bitched and moaned about it. They didn't like it. And yet we've got doctors now telling us they don't know if it's any good. We use penicillin. We use aspirin. We use a Gray's Anatomy. Now, they're all really, really ancient sort of texts and treatments, right? We still use them because they're still effective, right? Cannabis is effective, but we're not using it. Now, doctors know what penicillin is and how we discovered it, where it came from. Same with aspirin. So it's not like they're not aware that Western medicine has a history. Why is it that they've completely ignored cannabis's role in that history? Just going to reply. Okay. Adrian, if you're still here, they're going to let you into 420. That was one of the admins just saying, "Is he all right?" Da-da-da. Sorry, this is being very unsocial of me. I'm here live and I'm answering. Yeah. But she's very attractive. I'm old. I'm not dead. No, it's pretty much just been you commenting for a while, Giovanni. It's quiet. There's not many around. Saturday. People are out enjoying Saturday stuff. I just had to, I'm getting set up. I'm doing my internationals tonight, so like Green Cross of the World and Green Cross UK and a couple of others, so it's going to be a late night. So I thought I'd come and do an H&J one while I was sort of like getting set up and test my lighting and stuff like that. Still searching for a piece of software because I want another camera. I can't for the life of me find the fucking software. It's so frustrating because it will not work without the software. Dang nabbits. Of course you have a life, brother. We all have a life. What we choose to do with it, well, you know, like even just here, man, like the nice supportive comments and stuff like that might not seem much, but it is, because this, yeah, look, I don't know how, I'm sitting here, right? I'm smoking cones, drinking a coffee with a bit of bourbon in it. It seems pretty cash, but it's not. There's actually the stresses and the strains that go with this gig, you know, and without that support, it's a scary thing. I'll tell you this weird thing. I went streaming into another platform last night for a laugh. It's called Bigo, and it's shocking. It's mostly like it's Europe, you know. And I was like I've been checking out all these different platforms, right? And it is, the bulk of it is just sort of like Asian and European, like Russian girls going. It's like light cam, but there's no. It's really, really tight rules. So there's no nudity or anything. No, none of that. No profanity or anything. But you just get all these people go, "Give me present, please. Give me present." And I was going through it because it's really cool because it's just like the Facebook kind of thing. It's in this whole Europe sector where they don't do the Facebook kind of thing. And you get to look at the vehicles and the decor of the homes and stuff like that. And I kid you not, it's like 70s, 1970s. They're like in Russia right now, in Belarus and the Ukraine, they're living in 1970s Australia. You know, like Art Deco-y kind of, you know what I mean? Like the style, the stoves, the equipment. It is. It's so weird. It's kind of like that 40 years behind in things. So anyway, I went on there and I was streaming, right? Talking. So I'm just going off camera to have my cone and then blowing the smoke out, because you can't smoke on there. There's none of that. And people actually started coming in and listening. And they've got this little thing where, you know, you get these little hearts or something like that. And I got like over 300 of them. I'm like, what the? When I went and I looked, it was like all these Asian girls. Nobody spoke a word of English. It's just all these, and it's just like, you know, like cam scammers type thing going, oh, trying to get my attention. So I must have that old, lonely Australian guy look going down. I used to get that a lot on a couple of sites there, hassled out by a lot of like Philippine and Thai ladies and that. And I'm just like, seriously, what? No, look, one, I'm not here for that. Anyway, but two, I've got this thing where I really love the fiery Australian spirit of a lady. You know what I mean? Like you just don't get that in European girls, yeah. Like the English, because I'm English. But it's an attitude thing, and it's someone that likes to pull a few cones, obviously. Someone has a bit of a and I don't know. I just don't seem to find that kind of connection with that whole male bride thing. Nothing. Seriously, fall in love with who you fall in love with. That's the thing. You fall in love with who you fall in love with. I just tend to like the more fiery, bit of attitude there. I like it. Aussie girls are the best. Especially if they've got European heritage. Awesomeness. Yeah. Oh, that's it. Actually, I went through a great deal of my time trying to work out because I realised that my major relationships, like, all really, really crazy ladies. And I was trying to work out whether or not I was just really attracted to crazy ladies, or it was the result of being with me for a few years that turned them into crazy ladies. So I don't know if it was cause or effect, like chicken and egg kind of scenario. So that again. Look, isn't there something awesome about cannabis? We know that. Watching myself down here. I'm actually, I'm not broadcasting through my normal account today, which is kind of funky. So I'll try something different. Oh, good on you. I don't know if you guys have caught it yet, but actually, I wonder if I can find a link to it. Yes. Okay. Let's see if we can find it. Gentle page. HJ. I just posted shared a video clip from a young guy here in Melbourne, young hip hop artist. I went out to his video shoot last week. If you actually watch the clip, you can see me laying on the couch with the glass twisty blunt, getting well and truly baked, I can tell you. So and it's really good. Like he's so talented. He rocked. So also for those of you interested, there's an organisation called Hemp Sector that is I guess you'd call it a subcommittee of Anonymous. That is tasked with assisting through direct action and through some of our projects. So they're on a bit of a recruitment drive also at the moment. If you do feel like getting involved, head over to HempSec Australia and have a chat to the boys. To Jimmy Pubslow and crusty. Okay, so where am I? Put myself back onto H&J, figure out something. Yeah, cool. Well, the Cannabis Tour, the first event is the first weekend of September at the Tugun Community Centre. So yeah. Hi Deb, how are you? Oh, this is my little test run through H&J today for the new setup. Oh, hello. How are you? Oh. So I'm just watching myself. So a scribble pad. Yeah, actually, Giovanni, the lady that's commented just above you, Deb, is the secretary of the MCUA. So Deb, Giovanni, the guy that's commenting above and below you, he's joining the MCUA, but he's not a big fan of. He doesn't do PayPal anything. He wants to do a bank transfer, so he just needs the BSB detail things. Can you point him towards them so he can do that on Wednesday, please? So we've got a couple in. It's a good thing. And don't forget, you don't have to support cannabis to support the end of suffering. So, you know, your family and your friends, even if they're not 100% supportive of cannabis, surely they'd be 100% against the end of suffering. You know, like, or fall for the end of suffering. So maybe they'd like to join and add their support as well. It's not just about cannabis. This is about prohibition, harming people every day. So you don't actually have to support the drugs to realise that the mechanism they're using to control them is harmful and damaging. You know, you can be for a regulated supply. You can be for it being under control. But surely you can't be for people suffering without need. Cool. See, that's how we roll. We get things done. I'm entertaining. Hey, Smurfy, how you doing, gorgeous? Welcome to H&J. I'm broadcasting live from Melbourne, Australia, in the state of Victoria, in a state of confusion. In a state of impairment. Nah. Homeostasis, baby. So, I think we've touched on all sorts of stuff. Do I go back to the beginning again? So much stuff. So, oh, don't forget to go and check out our Aussie Vapes. Hey. Yes, we will be, as we're out on the road with the Cannabis Tour, as part of the workshop, we actually have, yes, the Smurfsters in. I know you do, sweetheart. One of the sub goals or sub projects of the Cannabis project, as I've mentioned, is an advocates workshop, but there is actually a couple of projects that we're going to be initiating through the advocates when we leave. So we're not just revving them up and networking them with each other, we're actually going to give them a coordinated task and coordinated with everyone else as we travel around, which comes along the lines of something like, colloquially termed Operation Hijack, which is basically we have watchers out in supermarkets and so forth, shopping centres, to look for the pop-ups for Cancer Council and all those kind of things. And basically, we're going to go down and hijack them. Within legal parameters, we'll have an understanding for the requisite laws and so forth, so that we don't have our advocates being hassled out. But if people are going to be out there trying to raise money for cancer research and so forth, and yet be willing to ignore the only thing that has actually shown any kind of promise in any sort of cancer research studies, which is cannabis, and yet none of these cancer councils or anything like that are willing to investigate those things, nor support the research in those things, I think it behooves us to get out there and make people understand that they're not actually giving money to an organisation that's seeking to end cancer. They're just seeking to make pharmaceutical companies huge amounts of money in research. So we're going to give you, as I said, a resource pack which will include data in reference to some cancer trials and so forth, but its comparison as to what they're using now. I mean, like chemo is killing people. Cancer treatments, Western medicine is killing people in the name of cancer treatments. And yet we've got a cancer treatment that is illicit, that can't kill people, and has shown promise and yet is ignored. So, yeah, we'll let them go out and spend the money to, provide a place where people can come and learn a little bit about cancer research and stuff. And we'll send our people there as well, and we'll tell them the truth. We'll see how their fundraising goes then. I think if they want to raise money to combat cancer, then they really should be investigating something that we know combats cancer. And until they do, they don't deserve to have any of the public's money. So we will hijack all of their operations, and maybe even, give people the information for the GoFundMe so that, real research can be undertaken. Little things like that. So that's one of the operations there. We're also looking at those that are homebound, people that can't get out, patients and so forth that don't mind having a chat. Give you a resource pack, a little info sheet that you can use and make phone calls to the talkback radio shows. And we'll give you those fact sheets there so that every time they say, oh, but what about it does this, you can go, oh, actually, research has shown that. That's a load of bullshit. No, but we'll give you a relevant answer to all of the standard myths and lies. Let's be honest. The lies. When you've got people like Erica Betts standing up saying cannabis has killed people, and it hasn't. You've got Bill Turner, head of the government organisation set to get cannabis to patients, who stands up on stage and says cannabis has killed people, and it hasn't. We can see that their attitude is not to give access to cannabis because they're still trying to convince people that it's dangerous. Excellent, dear. Yes, well, these workshops will be happening all over the country. I'm just being told that my voice is out of sync with the video. Is that for everyone as well? Is everyone getting that issue? Because that's something I'm concerned about. See, this is why I'm doing these little trials, because this is the rig I'm trying to put together for the Cananana tour. We're actually going to be looking at broadcasting the talks, the seminars, the workshops live out. And if you're actually part of the Advocates Workshop, while stuff's happening in another area, like while there's a workshop or a talk going on, you'll be with me watching the stream, and we'll be going through it as an as a teaching aid. So yeah, I've had that happen once or twice. Hey Matt, how you doing? Nobody else is saying it, Deb. Is anybody else having like the video trailing the voice a little bit? Come on, guys, help me out here. As I said, this is all experimentation, mucking around with software. Hey, mate. Hey, Matt, is the video and the voice in sync, or is it a little bit out of sync? Because Deb's telling me it's a little bit out of sync on her device. Okay, no, Deb, Giovanni's saying that he's not having a sync problem. So he's been with me since the beginning of my live, so that's making me feel a bit better. It means that it's your device, not me. Thank Christ for that. Oh, God. Bogan coffee. Don't forget to go up to the YouTube and check out the True Blue Bogan Adventures. I think they're about to kick off. Yeah, it might be your data connection. Yeah, it must be Queensland. Beautiful one day, 1974 the next. Oh, I miss Joe, actually. Nanango, Nanango. I got friends in Nanango, see. I'm welcomed in Joetown. Cool. All right. What else is going on? I'm going to colour my hair this week. I know you all were just, wondering when I was going to get around to doing it. I'm not going to go again with the purple. We're going to go for more natural, respectable sort of thing with all these speaking engagements coming up. I don't, like if I went purple, they'd lose me when we start going to the retirement villages. I just sort of blend in. Although that might be a good thing. Oh, I'm terrible. I'm a shocker. I really am. So, yes, I need, if you can, pass this video out and about. Get the link to the MCUA Inc. Very rude. People talking to me on the side, trying to work out if this lag thing is happening. Lungs of steel. Oh, dearie me. So how many people did they manage to migrate over to their website? I know they only got at least 4 because that's the admin team. got a bit of good news. I may be speaking at the upcoming General Practitioners Conference and Expo, which is kind of funky, being in a room full of doctors. Although, if they're female and attractive, I'll probably not mind too much. I haven't seen a great deal of doctors in my life. I've been, like, when I'm injured, and then it's usually because I'm in pain because I've got a broken bone. So you're not really in that whole zone of, you know, interacting with the medical staff. And because I tend to try and get out of those environments as quickly as I can, once again, there's no recovery time in a hospital. It's like, it's where you get sick. So yeah, it'll be interesting being in a germ-neutral zone with medical professionals who may be in my age bracket and attractive, and with an income that could keep me in the lifestyle that I've become accustomed. Oh, that's terrible. All right. So, I'm not quite sure how long I've been kicking for at the moment. A bit over an hour, which isn't too bad. I might have to drop out now, have a go through this a little, and just check this issue with the sync, and see if it actually comes up on the recorded version after the live stream. Intelligent women, that's right. I don't even mind the cops, because they come with their own handcuffs. Sorry. A little bit too much information there. Letting out secrets. So I'll be back broadcasting on Green Cross of Australia in about an hour or so. Going from there off to Green Cross of the UK and Green Cross of the World. Might be back on H&J later. You'll probably find me at some stage this evening in at 420 Beards and Babes International, smashing a few with the boys. Oh, it's all right when they're off duty, you know. Even MPs, you know, the old red hats. Something about them. Oh, take me in. I may have a concealed weapon. You'll have to search me vigorously. Okay, so yeah, I'll be doing the Green Cross runs this afternoon and through this evening. Probably be back H&J. Don't forget to do the stalky thing, like and follow, not just here. Go to the Green Cross Australia, Green Cross of the UK, Green Cross of the world. And mostly, first and foremostly, join the bloody MCUA. Follow the link in the description above. Go over there, fill in your details, pay your $5 and become one of us. One of us. One of us. One of us. That's right. Join the winning team. Because that's what it's about. Joining the winning team. Helping make the team the winning team. Because you'll be part of it. We need you, each and every one of you, even you in the back there hiding, I see you, all of you, to get involved. The time has come when we have to set aside our own personal fears, set aside our own personal restrictions, and think that if we don't do something today, then tomorrow people will still be suffering. We can change that. Together, we can change that. Alone, I can do very little. Alone, very few of us can do anything at all. But together, there's no limit to what we can achieve. Please, take that very first small step. Follow the link, fill in your details, pay your $5, and help us help you. Help our voice get stronger by adding yours to the chorus. It's not for you, it's not for me. Think of the children. I know that sounds really terrible, but literally, but not even just the children. think of the suffering. If we don't do something to help them, who will? Please, look in your heart. Can you think of something better to do with your life and make the world a better place? Please. Just consider it. Anyway, I want to thank you all for hanging out with me. Hey, Braden, how you doing, young fella? How's life? Did you get my invite to the picnic? Giovanni, it's like it's 2 words, Green Cross. If you start typing in Green Cross, they'll all just pop up. It's an international network. I run the Australian, the UK, and I'm one of the editors for the world one. They like my style or something, I don't know. So yeah, you can. They're pretty easy to find. So Green Cross of Australia, Green Cross of the UK, Green Cross of the world. Even just searching for an Ancient J, and you'll find the videos on each of them. It's an easy way of finding, go Ancient J in your search thing, and then just go videos, and you'll find all the Green Cross ones just sort of like pop up. You know me. I'm always in front of a camera. Once again, yeah, look, I mean, if you're going to depend on the government doing something for you, then you're basically just accepting that nothing's ever going to change. And I think the time for that is over. Every day that I've been alive, there's been a war happening. Now, for me, I don't understand why we're doing that at all. Yeah, they're only they're pages, Giovanni. They're not groups. They're just pages. They're sort of like the Ancient J page, rather than a group format. There's no point. There's enough groups on Facebook to a certain extent. So the Green Cross is they're just a public page that I broadcast from, and they're launch points for the videos and so forth. It's our link to the international organisation. Because the MCUA has many international links. We will evolve the MCUA with your help into a body that has the patients in mind and at the core of their charter. We need your help to do that. We need your help to help you. So, hey. And as I said, there's here on the Ancient J page, there's a link to a GoFundMe for the Cannabis tour. Feel free to go and throw a few dollars in there. It'd be lovely. Every dollar counts. Every dollar goes from that GoFundMe to a lawyer's trust account. Nobody's getting anything into their pockets out of these things. I'm tired of hearing stories about monies being raised to help people in our community and then it being wasted on lunches and dinners and stuff like that. I'm so over it. Even the Cannabis tour, anyone that's sort of like had anything to do with what we're trying to do at the moment will realise one of the first things we did once we organised and chose an area was to reach out and find free accommodation with members of our community. See, that's our biggest asset. We are everywhere and we need to utilise all of our assets, which means getting people involved. And if it's just something as simple as providing a bed for the night, that's brilliant because that's $200 that didn't get spent in a motel somewhere. And that is the core of the Cananana sort of like focus, if you will. Like we're not looking to raise money to spend it. We're looking, well, yes, we'll spend it, but on the right things, not wasting it on, like we're having like group meals, we're finding people that are actually going to help us cook a meal. Spaghetti bolognese or whatever, something nutritious, something good to eat, but not spending a few $100s in a restaurant to feed a dozen people. We can sit around a barbecue with a couple of packs from the supermarket or something. Like, we're not doing this to live a good life, to live a high life, to actually live Yeah, that's right. We've got to, like, it has been our goal from day one to maximise every dollar that we can raise, to make sure that we're not just getting what we can from every dollar, but to make sure that the people that are giving us those dollars know that we're doing everything we can to get everything out of those dollars. We're going up there, there'll be sort of like 10, maybe, like 10 people involved in the actual core of this thing, right? Now, to accommodate and feed 10 people, just for that 3-day sort of like up there, would cost thousands, but it's not. Accommodation is costing us nothing, okay? Food is going to cost us whatever it takes, the trip to the supermarket, and the time it takes to prepare a meal in some of those houses where we've got accommodation. This isn't advocates becoming advocates to live it up. This is a group of people that have been watching and fighting for so long and realising that it's just got to go to that next level. We can't just sit and hope that the people understand. We've got to go out there and make sure they understand. We've got to show them the truth. The media's not doing it, and it's not going to. They're never going to get the information they need to have in order to assist us if we depend on the media to get the information out there. If we depend on social media platforms to get the information out there, because a lot of people don't go. A lot of people don't have that interest. We need to go to the people, and we need to talk to the people in a manner that they can understand. And as I said, we don't need them to support cannabis. We just need them to support the end of suffering. And the passion, as I said to you earlier, Giovanni, that passion, that support, that goes a long way, because that's what keeps us motivated and out there doing it, because we know that there are people like yourself that appreciate that that's what we do. There's a lot of people, even within our own community, that will spend the majority of their time knocking other people for trying to do things. But we have a good heart and soul in our community. We've got people like you that realise that things need to happen. And as I said, man, just even coming in, being, communicating, supportive, these things, they add up. That's what gets us to that next thing, because it is hard, mate. When you're dealing, see, this is what people have to understand. It's not, one day, if it's legal and then people can be helped. Every day it's not, then there's suffering. I'm surrounded by patients that are suffering every day that this argument goes on. Real suffering, real people dying around us, people begging for access to an oil. People are begging to become criminals and a chance to save their lives. I don't think it's right that someone should have to beg to become a criminal to save their own life. I don't like the fact that most of them are turned away because there isn't enough to help everyone. Because an illicit supply, we're talking about tens of thousands of patients that are using illicit cannabis oil every day in Australia to have a quality of life. It's just not right. And I'm tired of things being just not right. And I think you are too. I think when you look around and you see what's becoming of the world that we are living in, your heart breaks a little bit every day, because mine does. Anyway, as I said, I've been on for a bit over an hour now. Hour and a half. Okay, so you've had me for 90 minutes. How awesomeness! I need to take a short break, and then I will be live on Green Cross of Australia. Let's kick off the commas first today, shall we? Yeah. So yeah, Green Cross of Australia. I will be live there in about 20-25 minutes. Okay, just give me a chance to go over a little bit of this footage and stretch my legs, stuff like that, you know. And then I will be back. Not here. Well, here, but not there. You know what I mean. I'll see you then. Daniel! For those of you that are just coming in, I'm taking a 25-minute break and I'll be appearing live on Green Cross of Australia. So get over to Green Cross of Australia and I'll see you in about 25 minutes. I've got to walk all the way over there, to where the thing is. So, yeah.